Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome back. I've got another video for you today about some top stacks in best ball for your 2021 fantasy football drafts, whether they're on Draftkings, whether they're on Underdog Fantasy, or whether you're playing somewhere else. These are best ball specific looks. I'm only going to go through 5, so maybe your favorite stack's not going to be in there. So go ahead down below in the replies and tell me which stacks you're attacking at ADP. But let's get to my top 5 stacks right now.
He's a legend.
All right, so the first thing I need to do is talk about why we stack and what we're stacking and how it's different in best ball than anywhere else. So in best ball, especially if you're playing tournaments, whether you're playing in that puppy, the second version of it that they just put out, 500,000 in prizes on Underdog, the Best Ball Mania 2 with over $1 million to first place, just over $1 million to first place, or if you're in the big dog because you're a big dog, you're going to need to correlate your teams. The easiest way to correlate your teams is with a pass catcher quarterback stack. That is the #1 correlation in all of fantasy football. And that's the thing that we're going to focus on for the sake of this video. The teams that go further in these tournaments are the ones that get the most points in the playoff weeks. So you have to stop looking at it unless you're playing in a sit and go, right? If you're playing in just a one-off league, in any of these down in here where you're just playing a cash game league where you're going to play through the 17 weeks because there are 18 weeks in this football season opposed to 17 before, you want to just have the most points. You're only playing against people you're playing for the duration. In Best Ball Mania, in Puppy, in Big Dog, or if you're playing over on DraftKings in their tournaments as well, trying to win all the big money, you have to put your eggs in one basket. And you do that by stacking, because if a team has a really big couple of weeks down the stretch, you want to capture all of those points. You not only have to come in top 2 in your league to advance to the playoff rounds, then it becomes a one and done, survive and advance, win or go home. Enter your favorite cliche here for the playoffs, where you've got to beat everybody else. And the way that you're going to get differentiation is through your different lineups and having a different access to different stacks than other people have. You can't just stack anybody. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to be mentioning stacks like the Kansas City Chiefs because of the price that Kelsey and Hill are going to cost you in terms of their ADP. You're not going to be able to get the 2 top targets for your quarterback. Yes, you could throw in a Mecole Hardman, get the 3rd best target. Maybe you get the running back and just capture the whole offense. It's going to cost you an awful lot of draft capital. Another one of the stacks that I really like that I'm not including in this video would be the Tennessee Titans. Tannehill has really risen in price, and I think that that's going to continue with A.J. Brown going in the 2nd and Julio Jones going in the 4th. I don't know if they're going to have as much volume to support much other than a single stack with that offense. If you want to go with a double stack with Julio and A.J. Brown with Tannehill, fine. But I'm going to be focusing on something else. For this video, I'm going to be looking at Underdog's Establish the Run's top 300. So go on over there. There's a link down below for a 10% discount. They do a great job on everything that they do. All of their rankings are here. Very easily downloadable. You just click this CSV download button right here. Boom, it downloads it. You come over here to the Underdog lobby. You hit over to the rankings, NFL, best ball season, CSV upload right here, downloads, Underdog Rankings, puts them in there, save, and you are ready to go with their rankings. It's just that fast. That's all you have to do to get these ETR top 300 that they have with Evan Silva and Adam Levitan and all the rest. Wiggins, Dink, Leone, everybody. Monster setup that they have over there at ETR. Go check out their product. Whether you're going to play season long or whether you're going to continue through the season with DFS, great job they do over there. Love to have them partner with the stream. So looking at the first one, we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. If you have watched my Kyler Murray video, you guys know that I really am partial to drafting quarterbacks that have rushing upside, right? So Kyler Murray, if he has a more efficient season than he had last year, we went over all of those numbers in the Kyler versus Josh Allen video. Go check that one out if you haven't. If he improves his efficiency at all through the air, the stackability with the rest of this offense, to me, gives you access to a top 5 QB if he stays healthy at worst, with the possibility of being a guy who could break fantasy completely. You get Nuke Hopkins in the 2nd round. You could pair him with one of Rondale Moore or AJ Green or Christian Kirk. I'm probably not going to be drafting Isabella. AJ Green really showing out so far in camp. It'll be interesting to see if he's dust like he looked last year, or if he's going to bounce back because he does not have to be the primary guy in the offense anymore. I would not probably stack with more than 3. I'm probably going to go with a Kyler stack with 2 guys for basically all of these stacks. I'm not looking to stack the entire team. I want a single stack or a double stack on most of these teams to allow me access to as many different players as you can, so that my eggs are in that basket, but not going to completely throw everything off if it does not work out for me. Second team that I wanted to talk about is going to be Cincinnati Bengals. You're not going to be able to get all 3 of the top pass catching targets with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, because of the fact that Chase and Higgins are going too close to one another. Unless you reach a little bit and get them at the wrap, if you're drafting and you get 36, 37, and you just say I'm going to take Chase and Higgins here ahead of ADP, in the hopes that Burrow continues to do what he did last year. But we need to take a little bit of an extended look at Joe Burrow. This is Pro Football Reference, because it's a site that I just happened to pull up. Efficiency is the thing that leads most to quarterback scoring in fantasy. I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. He was a rookie. He started 10 games, left through that 10th game because of the knee injury with the Washington, who got way too much pressure on him. They've improved that offensive line a little bit in the offseason. They clearly improved adding Jamar Chase to the passing attack. But you can see he was a little bit below average in basically every category, right? Except interception percent. He did fine, right? Didn't throw a lot of picks. Great. And he threw a lot of attempts, and that's really what I'm looking for with this stack. If we look at how many attempts he averaged per game, including the game that he left early in, what was it, week 11? It was their 10th game, right? It was week 10. Sorry, it was week 11. It was their 10th game. If you look at how many passes he was averaging, 40.4 attempts per game. That extrapolates out to, over that 16-game season if he'd stayed healthy, to 646 pass attempts. That would have led the league last year. The 3 guys who threw over 600 pass attempts in 2020 were Matt Ryan with 626, Tom Brady with 610, Ben Roethlisberger with 608. And I focus a lot on touchdown percentage. It's in terms of regression. 3.2 is exceptionally low. If he was to regress towards the mean, if he was to throw an average amount of touchdowns per attempts that he throws, if he just goes up to 5%, right? 6+ is like Hall of Fame levels. If he just comes up to 5% and throws 600 attempts only in 2021 with the pass catchers that he has, we're talking about 30 touchdowns for Joe Burrow in 2021. He is fully healthy. Considering that these 3 guys are going to eat up the majority of those targets, it's not out of the realm of possibility to expect that all of them will catch or will receive at least 125, maybe 130 plus targets for all 3 of these individuals. You know it's going to be coming from Burrow through the air. So stacking 1 or 2 of them, 3 is going to cost you a bit of a stretch there. Makes for probably my favorite stack on the board, considering that Joe Burrow has an ADP of 101. Tyler Boyd's going around 73.5 right now in Underdog. Jamar Chase at 42 and 45. Moving on to my next guy, Tom Brady. You heard of him. Played a lot of years, got a lot of rings. Probably the best social media. He's got too many things. Married to a supermodel. It's not fair. Just please stop, Tom. You don't have to hit us over the head all the time. We get it. You're the coolest guy ever. We get it. Fine. What I'm more concerned with is twofold. One, he kind of grasped this offense later in the season, because that Arians playbook is something that throughout the years people have said, it quarterbacks have said, because of the verbiage and the formations and everything that's going on, it does take a little bit longer to get comfortable with the Arians playbook and offense than other normal offenses, right? And he'd been in the same offense for like 19 years, so now he moved on. Second half of the season, though, if we just take weeks 10 through 16, or sorry, the 10th through the 16th games, weeks 10 through 17, Tom Brady was ridiculous. And if we extrapolate those games from the second half of the season over a 16-game season, and now it's a 17-game season, he was averaging 319 yards per game, 2.9 touchdowns per game, not throwing interceptions because Tom Brady doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. Yes, I knew he threw a few in the playoffs. You don't have to jump in the replies and be that guy that's, oh, he threw interceptions. We know. 5,100 yards over a 16-week season, 46 touchdowns over a 16-week season. And he's got every single piece returning. So let's take a look at their ADPs over here. Again, this is on ETR's site. Very easily sortable by team, by position, everything. Again, go check them out. Link down below, 10% discount. Mike Evans and Godwin can be nabbed at that turn, at the 36-37 turn. If you only get one of them, fine. Antonio Brown really started to come on late in the year. You want a mid to late round tight end? Rob Gronkowski going around the 160th pick. Tom Brady going at 104, 9th or 10th round. Very premium and very affordable stack at the same time. But he is a statue, so you're not going to be able to get any of those rushing yards or any of that upside, as opposed to somebody like Kyler Murray, who brings to the table, obviously, he is a running QB, like we've talked about in the running QBs video. Joe Burrow, more of a pocket plus QB, who previously, before the injury, could add something with his legs when it presented itself, a lot like Herbert, but not really a mobile or a running QB, just somebody who can get you some yards when it's there. We'll have to see what happens post-injury for him. Last two stacks I want to talk about on this video. Guys, look, the Fantasy Carnival's back in town. Cowboys were one of my favorite stacks last year. They're still one of my favorite stacks this year. Amari Cooper missing the beginning of camp, but expected to be there by week 1. His ADP has kind of flip-flopped. CeeDee Lamb was going after Amari Cooper through May, June, most of July. End of July, it's completely flipped, and Underdog, one of the sharpest ADPs that exists, and it's updated daily, so this is accurate. 26.7. He is going a lot at the end of second rounds now. I would not be shocked if this ADP went down to like 23. Amari Cooper available in the middle of the third rounds right now. Dak Prescott going around 63. Michael Gallup, everybody's favorite value, at 73. A lot of people love him. No matter who you listen to, who you read, they love Michael Gallup going the place that he's at, the wide receiver 32. With as much as they're going to be moving people around in this offense, CeeDee Lamb not going to be relegated to just playing slot. They're going to move him outside. Every single highlight from Cowboys camp every day seems to be CeeDee Lamb, which is going to mean that Michael Gallup's going to get some easier touches and looks and coverage stuff inside. They're going to use a lot more motion with this offense. The tight end, if you wanted to get a second or third stack late, Blake Jarwin was clearly the better pass catching tight end, but coming off of an ACL injury, it has now been reported that they are coming along slowly with him. ADP of 174. Dalton Schultz looked like he looked last season, which is to say he looked good for fantasy, and you can get him with basically a last round pick going as the tight end 31 on the board. And my last team, probably the easiest one to stack up multiple pieces of this offense and a very cheap quarterback, the Washington football team. Terry McLaurin going in the middle of the third rounds right now. And we know what he did last year. Not a lot of touchdowns because the quarterback situation was not great in terms of fantasy with Smith and Haskins and everything else that was going on there. This team is going to be a better offense this year. We're seeing Gibson go at the high end of the second round and should be a little bit more involved in the passing game than he was last year. Curtis Samuel dealing with an injury. Monitor that as camp goes on. My most drafted player so far, we'll get into that on the most drafted video that I'm going to do later in the month, is Logan Thomas. You guys know that I've been basically snatching him up in the 9th and 10th rounds in whenever he's there, basically, for me, either as a tight end 1 or a tight end 2. And Fitzmagic is going at basically the 160th pick. Nabbing Terry McLaurin in the 3rd, Logan Thomas in the 9th or 10th, and then walking away with a quarterback to pair with your double stack in the 15th, the 14th, 15th rounds, it's almost too easy. You're not drafting Fitz as your QB1. You're drafting him as your QB2. If Washington puts up a 30-plus point day, the majority of those targets are going to go through McLaurin and Samuel and Thomas, which means that Fitz does give you the possibility of having a massive day. We know how much value he's added throughout the years with his legs, and that's basically going to do it. Those are my top 5 stacks that I'm going to suggest having the most exposure to. Nobody has the possibility of being 100% when they predict the future. I'm going to be wrong on some of this stuff, guys. If you want to fade my picks, if you want to go with somebody else, go for it. I'm all for you making those leaps of faith in your own projections. and your own thought process. If you think, hey, nobody's talking about this stack, that's probably a good thing for your lineups. Go out and soak up as much exposure as you can get in these big tournaments. I hope that you guys take one down. Till next time, look out for another video right here or right over there. Bye.
He's a legend.